Hey, what is up, guys? Good to see you here on the channel. I'm gonna tell y'all what, I hope you're watching from an air-conditioned room wherever you are, because it is like some kind of hot today. Triple-digit heat indexes. We're up underneath this big old sycamore tree trying to find a little bit of shade, working on the T-Rex behind me. We're gonna walk over there and take a look at it in a minute. But I was actually standing right here looking at our roto chopper. This is our smaller machine, so our MC266. She's down too. I don't know, something about this hot weather stuff just starts failing. But she's down pretty hard. So what happened, we evidently ingested a piece of metal into the feed, and so that main rotor right there evidently has got like a balance piece, a weight, if you will, inside of it that's at a certain spot, and we kind of knocked it off when the piece of metal went through the grinder. So at this point, with as many hours as on that drum, we chose to just go ahead and order a brand new drum in-feed from power feed from Roto Chopper. Just we're going to replace that whole rotor. And then we've also got two pumps that have gone bad on this machine. So she's got engine hours on the Cat there, like 5,000 hours. So we're still good on the engine life, but that rotor has just got to be replaced. So it's going to be a little while for the good folks up at Roto Chopper to get that built in Minnesota. And then of course they've got to ship that down here to us. So as soon as we get those parts, we're gonna have the Roto Chopper back up and running. Now let's go over and take a look at the T-Rex, which is still down because we had to order a bunch of parts for them, or for it. They just came in, so we've been working on getting it put back together. The guys are fixing to go to lunch. We're gonna go over here and take a look at it here in just a second. And I hate to really even walk out up underneath the shade. This sycamore is giant, and Dad dares anybody to touch this thing. It's kind of in the way of a lot of operations, but I can't blame him, because this is a true shade tree mechanic area. As you can see, we just try to fit everything we can up under it when we can, but the old T-Rex is a little bit too big to fit under there. And we've made some good headway this morning. Y'all remember in the video where she came apart on us, broke in two. We got her put back together. We had to replace, some of the hydraulic lines, some of the grease lines. Got all those taken care of this morning. And now what we're working on is, and I'll be more than happy to climb up under here because it's shady. So it hasn't been the worst spot out of all places I can think of to work today, because at least there is a little bit of shade down here. But we're working on the drive shaft and the brake assembly. So we had to get a new brake caliper right here, this big old monster thing that weighs a ton. And then the rotor is in line with the drive shaft. So what we had to do, this is the actual nut that came off, and what we found out that happened is there was a keyway in this thing that you can't buy anymore, unfortunately. For whatever reason, they just don't make that part anymore, but that keyway broke. And so that's what allowed this nut to back off and fall completely off, and the truck to come apart. So got that nut tightened up this morning. They do sell a special tool, it's like $700 to tighten up that nut, but I wasn't paying that, so we just took some pins, put them in the holes there, and drove it around with a hammer as much as we could to get her tightened back up. Then when it did come apart on us, it did some pretty major damage to the rotor. So Jesus took the grinding wheel and got it polished back smooth for the brake pad to grab hold to and hopefully not chew the brake pad up. But it feels pretty good. I think he did a good job getting that back in order. And so what we're gonna do, since we can't get the keyway any longer, we're gonna take and put a bolt in one of these holes, get us a metal plate with a hole in it that has a rod that goes up in there, and then just tack weld that. So that's gonna hold it come hell or high water. But she did did some pretty decent damage when she came apart. This yoke back here got a little jacked up. I think it'll still be fine though. Had to replace a couple of seals, but other than that, when the guys get back from lunch, we're going to go ahead and install this brake assembly, and then we should have her back up and running. So I'll be glad to have this one back in the rotation. We got the Volvo, which that Volvo has done absolutely just fantastic for us. I mean, we haven't had not one issue out of that Volvo truck, so really happy with that purchase. But be glad to have this one back in the rotation. Obviously she can haul just a little bit more. This is a 40-ton, so that'll help us move some more sand. And we just got to get everything back to running. I tried to make y'all a landfill video this morning. I went back there and walked around. I was telling you guys all about what was happening and what was going on, and because I'm stupid, I didn't turn my microphone on. Y'all couldn't hear anything I said, so sorry. I'll have to get you another one later on in the week. But appreciate you guys watching and keeping up with us. Hit that like and subscribe down there for me if you haven't already, and let me know where you guys are from, what y'all do, and what you want to see. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks, guys.